one word answer, or can we say a few sentences?
I'm sure you're not just
going to say for or against.
I would encourage the Deputy Mayor to vote against and to send the All England Lawn Tennis Club back to the drawing board, because their current plan is outsized and too damaging. Not only is it bad for our local park, but it also sets a precedent for other metropolitan land, and it's too important to let go.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, Pippa, go, that's fine.
I'm a yes as well. I've been on board from the start. I was at the protests outside both Merton Civic Centre and Wandsworth Town Hall, and I've linked up with the Save Wimbledon Park campaign in other ways. I'm also just going to throw in that London Assembly member Sean Berry, a Green, wrote to Jules Pipe in March and set out lots of reasons under 3 headings as to why it's unacceptable to approve the application. So loss of metropolitan open land, harm to local heritage and community use, and harm to landscape and biodiversity. Sean actually just got a reply today. It's very short, but it says that Jules Pipe can't comment on any of the matters that have been raised because he's got to avoid any perception of bias. But it's a big yes from me, and thanks to the Save Wimbledon Park campaign.
Thank you, and Ellie, yes.
Thank you, yes, so I've already sort of referred to this in my opening speech, but I'm against the current AELTC plans, and it saddens me to actually be a member of Merton Council, and for Merton Council to have actually been for it, which is obviously run by the Labour Party, or the majority is the Labour Party at the moment. I've already stated, it is about the preservation of green spaces that are important to our local community, but it's also about the fact that a covenant was made, which was a tie and a trust to the public, that that land would only be used for recreational purposes, and now it looks as though that, if it is put through, then that sets that dangerous precedent that you have already mentioned. So I would be advising to reject that, so thank you.
I might just do a little bit of correction here. Councillors who sit on planning application committees sit, but not with party hats on. It is a quasi-judicial process. I sit actually on the Wandsworth Planning Applications Committee, so I sit on it as a councillor who happens to be Labour. So the people who made the decisions in the Merton Committee were not making them as Labour councillors, but just on a quasi-judicial basis as councillors. The fact that it was turned down in Wandsworth, many of the items that were used in the officer's report were as a result of the work that I'd done around biodiversity net gain and the urban greening factor, particularly biodiversity net gain, getting it into the London plan. And it allowed the report that came to Wandsworth to recommend to the councillors on the committee in Wandsworth that it be rejected. If it had not been rejected by Wandsworth and it had been accepted by both committees, we wouldn't be having this discussion about the Deputy Mayor making a decision. And it would be the Deputy Mayor making a decision with the guidance of the planning officers. So again, it's not a vote. He will be making a decision, and it is really important that he's not prejudged in that. So not being prejudged is an important feature of being part of the committees. So unfortunately, I was not able to participate in the Wandsworth Planning Applications Committee because I have been very, very publicly against building on metropolitan open land anywhere in all of London. I've worked with CPRE and Alice Roberts. The 50 sites that you've just referred to are from a CPRE report. I've also had the privilege of working with the Save Wimbledon Park campaign. I've also answered, I think, every single person who's written to me when I was a Wandsworth councillor, and then again in my role on the Assembly, and I've given them guidance about writing to Jules Pipe, who is the current Deputy Mayor for Planning, Regeneration and Skills. So I've actually been helping people to put their views across. My view, and I, or whoever is elected actually, for Merton and Wandsworth, but if I am re-elected, I have already made it very public that I've already said to Jules, if I'm re-elected, I want to attend the planning hearing, because the Assembly member for Merton and Wandsworth has the right to attend and speak. Now, usually they have people who live in adjoining properties. I don't know whether the lead petitioners might also be given that privilege, but it will be mainly the councillors from the two planning committees who will be called in, if you like, along with some officers to explain how they reached the decisions that they did. And obviously the two committees reached different decisions, as you're aware. So I have, if I see this through, I will certainly be going along to the hearing and